This is Seawolves. Storm or not.
Good morning, Seawolves. Welcome to this week's edition of Seawolves Storm or Not. I'm Christine Kelly, and I am very tired. This week, our news is pretty downbeat as we have a genocide in Gaza, some athletic disasters, and, well, how about we just move on to the news. But first, allow me to remind you, well, whether you'll allow me doesn't matter because it's my show and I'll talk if I want to, but remember that this broadcast is a collaboration between the students of the School of Communications and Journalism and the School of Atmospheric and Marine Sciences. And now, on campus and off, attention is still riveted on the Middle East. Events are triggering horror, fear, and loathing. On our own campus last Wednesday, hundreds of students marched in support of Palestine. Mega producer Peter Bayandon and I decided to check it out. For our somnolent campus, this is a pretty strong turnout. Stony Brook added their voices to the millions worldwide calling for an end to the bombing and occupation of Gaza.
We started planning this last week when, on October 6th and 7th, when Israel, after response to Hamas, they sent out, they started being very destructive, structurally destructive.
He was referencing Israel's missile strikes on Gaza.
I'm afraid to give my name because, as you can see, the Israeli presence in media is great, and a lot of people have not only had their jobs, declined, the job offers declined because of their support for Palestinian resistance, for justice for Palestine, but there's also been family members that have been attacked. Very recently, there was a 6-year-old boy that got killed by, an anti-Palestinian man who went into the Palestinian's house and killed and stabbed and murdered the 6-year-old boy. And because of this threat, all the Muslims are, again, almost like 9/11, facing this anti-Muslim, anti-Palestinian, sort of resentment, right? So that's why I'm being anonymous, so that I can protect not only myself, but my family members as well.
These are students on an American campus, hiding their faces in fear of Islamophobic and racist retribution. Let's hope the administration hears them out. Stony Brook is 5,631 miles to the west of Gaza. As far as we know, no SBU students are directly involved in the conflict, but everyone is watching what's happening there. The White House says President Joe Biden and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu have agreed to a continued flow of humanitarian aid from Egypt into Gaza. Dozens of trucks carrying food, water, and medicine have crossed into the region since Saturday. Israeli Defense Forces say they launched strikes on more than 320 targets in the Gaza Strip overnight. They also continue to exchange fire with Iran-backed Hezbollah fighters near the northern border shared with Lebanon. The fighting here is fanning fears that the conflict could expand. A bipartisan group of U.S. senators in Tel Aviv issued this warning to Tehran.
If this war grows, it's coming to your backyard.
Prime Minister Netanyahu visited with troops near the Lebanese border Sunday, telling them if Hezbollah joins the war, it would be, quote, the worst mistake of its life. The State Department has issued a do-not-travel warning for U.S. citizens to Lebanon and is urging Americans there to leave, calling the security situation unpredictable. Meanwhile in Gaza, there's a glimmering of good news. UN spokesman Stefan Dujarric announced that an additional 20 truckloads of humanitarian supplies went from Egypt this morning. These supplies include household goods, medical necessities, bandages, and some stuff that we ordinarily take for granted as part and parcel of day-to-day life. It's no big mystery what's in these boxes, but because Israel is suspicious of munitions entering the city, they're restricting the flow of goods. So far, Mr. Biden and the Pope are persuasive in their arguments that Israel should wait before it attacks Gaza with 300,000 troops. 2.3 million people are facing the culmination of, in my opinion, 70 years of ethnic cleansing. Palestinians do not want or need to be slaughtered yet again. But on a less philosophical and historical note, here is Brittany Dietz with literally lighter news. Brittany?
Thanks, Christine. I'm out here next to the engineering building. We have the perfect fall day with clear blue skies and the sun shining. We have a high of 63 degrees, a low of 45, and a breeze of about 15 miles per hour. While it is sunny, it's still a bit chilly, so don't forget to pack a sweater before you go out. I'm Brittany Dietz, back to you at the desk.
Brittany, that's a lovely way to start the week. It's Monday, so that means it's time for Mike's Minute. So take it away, Mike.
Thank you, Christine. If you root for the Seawolves, you had a terrible weekend. In fact, had it not been for our friends at the University of Delaware, this may have been the most miserable weekend of the year so far. But I like ending on high notes, so let's get the bad stuff out of the way first. The football team is off to its worst ever start to a season, again. Last year, they started 0-6 before winning on homecoming. This time around, they lost 45-14 to New Hampshire. Oh well, 0-7 it is. The men's soccer team finally lost a CAA game last Friday, getting shut out 2-0 by Monmouth in the rain. That's totally forgivable. After all, it's tough to go undefeated, and Monmouth is pretty good. However, it shattered their hopes of winning the regular season title, as they fell to third place from first with the loss. Hofstra now runs the CAA. The women's volleyball team got swept by first-place Towson last weekend. They fell to 10th place out of 12. Now for the good news. The women's soccer team is going back to the CAA playoffs as the 6th seed after Delaware shut out UNCW on Sunday to force a scoreless draw. By preventing UNCW from earning 3 points, Delaware punched Stony Brook's playoff ticket for them. That's all I've got for this week. Now to you, Costa, for this week's weather forecast.
Thanks, Mike. This forecast is a real treat with no bad blood from the weather this week. I mean, not in my wildest dreams could I have dreamt a forecast like this, full of sunshine, much like the view behind me as it welcomes you to Port Jefferson, New York, courtesy of EarthCam. Starting with today, which is the coolest of the week with a high of 63 and a low of 45 under complete sunshine. Tuesday will be slightly warmer with a high of 65 and a low of 47, with any morning clouds decreasing through the day. It becomes even warmer Wednesday as we hit the 70-degree mark for a high in October. We can expect that trend to continue further Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend with daytime highs in the low to mid-70s, nighttime lows in the mid-50s, and the blank space above those temperatures filled with sunshine, although some clouds may roll in late Sunday ahead of a cold front. Overall, I think this is welcome relief that rain has finally gone out of style, especially for Saturday, after so many weeks in a row. I think it's safe to say that we're out of the woods for now, as the sun is here to stay with maybe some record highs this week. So grab a sweater or cardigan for the morning, a white or any color t-shirt for the afternoon, and enjoy the outdoors. Back to you, Christine, at the desk.
Thanks, Costa. This is turning out to be a particularly gloomy October, so at least we'll finally have some great weather. If you like a lot of sunshine. I love the rain myself, but I'm sick. But personally, I'm spending my spooky season watching British horror movies from the 50s and a lot of Sherlock Holmes adventures. Let's hope Halloween brings us some more pleasant scares than the news has recently. Now that's all the time we have for today. Once again, I am Christine Kelly. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week, Seawolves. One more thing. Remember to stay spooky.
This is Seawolves. Storm or not.